I have a little tight time here. On to our drama practices after this. Third party.
You are muted, Maharaj, and you're frozen.
Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatharine Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Brinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So thank you very much. We'll go to our invocational mantra. Om Jnana Timirandasya
Om Jnana Timirandasya
Jnananjana Shalakaya
Jnananjana Shalakaya
Chakshuran Militam Yena
Chakshuritam Yena
Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha.
Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
I was born in the darkest ignorance.
I was born in the darkest ignorance.
My spirit master opened my eyes
My spiritual master
with the torch of knowledge.
the torch of knowledge.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto him.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto him.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Jai. Great. Okay, so now let us get to where we are. A host will tell us. Chapter 18, conclusion, perfection of renunciation. And today's verse is, well, the Vaishnavi 50, that's right. Okay. Siddhing prapto yata brahma tatapnoti nibodhme samasenaiva kaunteya nishta gyanasya ya param. Translation. O son of Kunti, learn from me how one who has achieved this perfection can attain to the supreme perfectional stage, Brahman, the stage of highest knowledge, by acting in the way I shall now summarize. Hare Krishna. Purport by one volunteer.
Pavitra, go.
Hare Krishna. The Lord describes for Arjuna how one can achieve the highest perfectional stage simply by being engaged in his occupational duty, performing that duty for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One attains the supreme stage of Brahman simply by renouncing the result of his work for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. That is the process of self-realization. The actual perfection of knowledge is in attaining pure Krishna consciousness. That is described in the following verses.
Oh, very good. Nice. Thank you so much. O son of Kunti, learn from me how one who has achieved this perfection can attain to the supreme perfectional stage, Brahman, the stage of highest knowledge, by acting in the way I shall now summarize. Hare Krishna. I think we should go to the next few verses. Let's cover the next. It's all kind of tied in together. 51, 52, and 53. All right. So we've got a few devotees here. Everyone can, let's say, take up a verse with Sanskrit, and then we'll have one person. The fourth one can read the three verses together. And then we can have another two people on the purport. How's that? That sounds very engaging. 6 people. Yahoo. All right. Vaishnavi, can you line people up?
Yes, Maharaj. 1 minute. I'm trying to figure out. Yes, one. Okay, so Ritam and let me see. Arjuna Sakhadas, Prabhu, are you able to read? And if you are, then go ahead. Naman and your family, Vasantha, Dhanraj, and then last Asha.
Okay, so we got 6 people lined up, it sounds like. Okay, let's go for some nice pronunciation here.
बुद्ध्या विशुद्धया युक्तो धृत्यात्मानं नियम्य च शब्दादीन् विषयं त्याक्त्वा रागद्वेषौ व्युदस्य च विविक्ता सेविलग्व आशी यथा वाक्कायमानसः ध्यानायोगापरो नित्यं वैराग्यं समुपश्रितः. Should I continue? Mataji?
Well, it was pretty broke up. So let's go for the next person. All right.
Arjun Saka, are you able to read? Otherwise, next one, Naman can go.
Okay, Mataji. Ahankaram balam darpam kamam krodam parigraham vimuchya nirmamah shanto brahma bhuyaya kalpate.
Thank you so much. Okay, and then the next person can give us the 3 verses together.
Being purified by his intelligence and controlling the mind with determination, giving up the objects of sense gratification, being freed from attachment and hatred, one who lives in a secluded place, who eats little, who controls his body, mind, and power of speech, who is always in trance and who is detached, free from false ego, false strength, false pride, lust, anger, and acceptance of material things, free from false proprietorship and peaceful, such a person is certainly elevated to the position of self-realization.
Purport.
Nice.
Purport. When one is purified by intelligence, he keeps himself in the mode of goodness. Thus, one becomes the controller of the mind and is always in trance. He is not attached to the objects of sense gratification, and he is free from attachment and hatred in his activities. Such a detached person naturally prefers to live in a secluded place. He does not eat more than what he requires, and he controls the activities of his body and mind. He has no false ego because he does not accept the body as himself. Nor has he a desire to make the body fat and strong by accepting so many material things. Because he has
Okay.
no... Yep.
Great. Next person.
Vasantha.
Hare Krishna. Because he has no bodily concept of life, he is not falsely proud. He is satisfied with everything that is offered to him by the grace of Lord, and he is never angry in the absence of sense gratification, nor does he endeavor to acquire sense objects. Thus, when he is completely free from false ego, he becomes non-attached to all material things. And that is the stage of self-realization of Brahman. That stage is called Brahma Bhuta stage. When one is free from material conception of life, he becomes peaceful and cannot be agitated. This is described in Bhagavad Gita 2:70.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, now just to sort of cover this topic, these verses, which we can put under the title Spiritual Joy. Let's go to this next verse. Somebody can take, this is a very famous verse, and I would try to memorize this one. Somebody can do the Sanskrit, some of the English, and then again, we'll have about 4 people work on the purport. Okay. Great.
Hare Krishna.
Shall we queue those people up?
Uh,
Vaishnavi, please.
Arjuna, you are able to read now? Haripad Prabhu, you can go.
Hare Krishna, yes, I can read.
Yeah. And then I will read. Right now, Asha, are we continuing here? Apuryamanam Achala Pratishtam Maharaj?
Yes.
Yes, that's what I understood.
I'm sorry. I thought we were just at the end. Yeah. We can start from there and then continue with 54 and finish right to the end of the purport of 54. So let's finish 53 and just continue, right? That's our reading for today, and then we'll discuss.
Apuryamanam achala pratistam samudram abha pravisanti yadvat hadvat kamayam pravisanti sarve sa santim apnoti na kama kami. Next.
Go ahead.
A person who is not disturbed by the incessant, how you say it? Incessant flow of desires that enter like rivers into the ocean, which is ever being filled, but is always still, can alone achieve peace, and not the man who strives to satisfy such desires.
Okay, great. Sorry, I jumped the gun a little earlier on. I'd just like to complete this little segment of these verses
Okay, so
grouped together. That
Brahma,
includes verse 10. So just
Brahmabhuta,
let's get a cue together. Is everyone clear on that? Sanskrit, English, and then the purport.
Brahmabhutha prasannatma na shochati na kankshati samaha sarveshu bhuteshu madbhaktam labhate param. One who is thus transcendentally situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed toward every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. Asha, can you read the purport?
I can read, Mataji.
Go ahead, yes.
Purport, Hare Krishna. To the impersonalist, achieving the Brahma Bhuta stage, becoming one with the Absolute is the last word. But for the personalist or pure devotee, one has to go still further to become engaged in pure devotional service. This means that one who is engaged in pure devotional service to the Supreme Lord is already in a state of liberation called Brahma Bhuta, oneness with the Absolute without being one with the Supreme. The Absolute one cannot render service unto him. Should I continue, Mataji? In the Absolute conception, there is no difference between the served and the servitor. Yet the distinction is there in a higher spiritual sense. Hare Krishna.
Arjun Saka, can you read the next?
In the material concept of life, when one works for sense gratification, there is misery. But in the absolute world, when one is engaged in pure devotional service, there is no misery. The devotee in Krishna consciousness has nothing for which to lament or desire. Since God is full, a living entity who is engaged in God's service in Krishna consciousness becomes also full in himself. He is just like a river cleansed of all dirty water because a pure devotee has no thought other than Krishna. He is naturally always joyful. He does not lament for any material loss or aspire for gain. Because he is full in service of Lord, he has no desire for material enjoyment. Because he knows that every living entity is fragmental part and parcel of the Supreme Lord and therefore eternally a servant.
Okay.
He does.
Next person.
Okay, so who else has not read? You can go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So where do I start? I just lost that. He eternal.
He does not see.
Okay. He does not see in the material world. Someone has higher and someone has lower. Higher and lower positions are ephemeral, and a devotee has nothing to do with ephemeral appearances or disappearances. For him, stone and gold are of equal value. This is the Brahma Bhuta stage, and this stage is attained very easily by the pure devotee. In the stage of existence, the idea of becoming one with the Supreme Brahman and annihilating one's individuality becomes hellish. The idea of attaining the heavenly kingdom becomes uh, phantasmagoria, and the senses are like serpent who poison teeth are whose poison teeth are broken. As there is no fear of a serpent with broken teeth, there is no fear from the senses when they are automatically controlled. The word is miserable for the materially infected person, but for a devotee, the entire word is as good as Vaikuntha or the spiritual sky. The highest personality in this material universe is no more significant than an ant for a devotee. Such a stage can be achieved by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, who preached pure devotional service in this stage.
This age. Yeah,
Oh,
thank
sorry,
you so much.
this age.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Blessings to you all for going on a marathon here. Okay, so we just wanted to concentrate on the the particular quality of an advanced soul, a Krishna conscious person, which is sometimes referred to as, Brahma Buddha stage. We took a lump of verses together, which includes 50 right up to 54, and put under the heading of spiritual joy, the joyfulness of it all. I also emphasize that verse 54 is one that I think is a good one to memorize, and not just to memorize, but also embrace and, let's say, assimilate. Really try to absorb it and try to live it. It's not good if we just go over material, this reading material matter, and we don't start to really, take it in and let's say digest it. It's one thing when you're eating something, digestion is the other thing. You can chew on some food, but really when it goes inside and just let go and let it release and enter into the stomach and the other passages, then really we're talking about absorbing. So let's try to understand and grasp what this Brahma Buddha means, okay? Verse 54. So everyone's very clear on what Brahma means. Brahma refers to spirit. And Brahma Buddha, when you put it together, when we are absorbed in the spirit. The next word, prasana, and then atma. I know somebody down there in Florida who's prasanatma, and he's a doctor, and he actually does reflect in many ways this spirit of being just indifferent. So one can be happy if one is indifferent. Indifference means nashojati nakangshati. It means you don't lament, you don't, let's say, show excitement over practically anything. You're just quite aloof and detached from this world. Nashojati nakangshati. And another symptom of an advanced soul, a Brahma Buddha soul or a Krishna conscious soul, is one who's equally disposed towards everyone let's take a lesson from Prahlad Maharaj. His father asked him, "How was your day at school, son?" And Prahlad was saying, "Well, I didn't learn too much really, but I did learn a few things from other, experiences outside school." And of course, he was referring to, his Narada Muni or his guru, Narada Muni, divesting in information while Prahlad was in the womb of his mother. And what he did gain was an understanding that no one is my friend, no one is my enemy. We're all basically equal. So in that stage, one it has a fullness in Krishna consciousness. We can say the Uttamadikari, with the advanced soul, is somebody who just kind of sees that everyone's more or less connected to Krishna, and everyone's connected and disconnected to, materialistic ways of thinking. So, anyways, just to sum it up, I think, just looking at this verse, this particular verse, verse 54, not denying the others, but somebody is very transcendentally situated, is joyful, okay? That's symptomatic. You might want to take a note of that. A joyful person, happy person. Number two, someone who does not lament, does not easily get depressed or stressed out. And number three is someone who is not eager to, have materialistic things. Someone who's not eager to acquiesce, to accumulate. So that's number three. Number four is someone who's equally disposed towards all living beings, sees with equality or equanimity. And these are some of the qualifications of a very advanced soul. If you meet somebody like this, wow, you're doing really good. Now, this doesn't mean that you may not show emotions. They can simply, when it comes to spiritual emotions, spiritual attention is a concomitant factor of Krishna consciousness. But the underlying principle of a Brahmabhuta soul or advanced soul is someone who's quite aloof from the world. So the Prabhupada's illuminating purports gives us a little bit of more of a hint. Some analogies that I'm just going to ask you, Prabhus, to indicate that one is, advanced. I'll expect that maybe you'll draw some information from the purport of this verse 54 and the previous verses. Can you give us some analogies or some examples of what it means to be in this state, by some examples in nature, for instance? Anybody? You can raise your hand. Okay, it means making some reference.
Maharaj,
to the
Dandavat
chapter.
Pranams, Maharaj, I have an analogy.
Okay, thank you. Go
This
ahead.
is the analogy of an elephant I was seeing in, or even, an elephant in the African safari forest, where it's, the elephant is actually surrounded by some other elephants, and it's surrounded by so many lions and tigers, and on top of the elephant there is like little birds, and the elephant is just happily, swinging, and it is totally oblivious to all the dangerous animals next to it, because it perhaps it has had its meal, and it has had its bath, and it doesn't lament, and it's not desiring any more food, and it's not afraid of any of the other animals next to it. I thought this is an analogy.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you very much. That's good. I like the optics. It's pretty clear. It's wonderful. Great. Anything else that maybe we can get some examples from the purports? Okay, anything to do with nature or something to understand this particular state of mind. Arjun, you've got your hand up.
So something happened to me at work today, and I know it was because like I was talking to somebody, and she said, "Oh, I'm playing the lotto, so hopefully I become a millionaire, and I don't have." And I told her, if you do get the money, you might have to like like quit working for some time. But I said it's not gonna make you happy. I said on the contrary, it might make you even more miserable than you are right now. And I say I know some of these people who are like really rich, and they have sons who are atheists, and they're very miserable. And somebody that I wasn't talking to came, and she said, "Oh, I have two sons, and they're atheists, and they're very good sons." And I said, if you do spend time in this planet and you don't look for God, it's a waste of time, because you're gonna have to lose it all. And she said, "Oh, I don't think that way, blah blah, this and that." And I said, "Look," and she said, all religious people are like scammers and things like that." And I said, I'm not a scammer. I think I'm religious, but I'm not a scammer. But then like I guess it relates kind of to this purport that we're talking about, that like if you don't look for Krishna, at the end of the day, materially, having gold and having stones is the same thing, because without Krishna, it's worthless. You have to lose it anyways.
Okay, thank you very much. You're drawing from an experience in your life in the course of this day. That's very nice. Good. I'm actually looking for some references to what we were just reading about, something that will kind of we'll be able to retain. Something we read and that we can retain. Dhanraj, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. So yeah, the analogy that I was thinking of was also related with nature. But then I also thought of something else. I was thinking of a young boy on a beach making a sand castle, and he's just playing around, and then the wave comes and destroys the sand castle, and then he makes another one. So he or she is always very joyful, neither lamenting nor nor joyful in that sense. And also a honeybee, for example, collecting nectar from different flowers, and while doing so, it also pollinates. So it's also going from one flower to the other, carrying, collecting the nectar and making the honey. So, I just thought that both of these situations, they are neither lamenting nor desiring, and just doing their duty. That was the analogy I was thinking of. But I also had a very quick question. I actually want to know what is the exact meaning of the word Brahman. So that was actually my query that I had. What does exactly Brahman mean?
Spirit, anti-material energy.
Okay.
Anti-material energy. Brahman, as opposed to Prakriti, material energy.
So does Brahman also refer to Krishna?
It can. Krishna in the personification of Brahman. Yes, it can.
So how would we relate to Krishna as Brahman? In what way?
But it's Brahman is Brahman. Well, Krishna is the ultimate, the epitome of what is Brahman. Krishna is the source of Brahman.
Krishna is the source of Brahman. Okay.
Yes, he is the sun. He is emitting all this energy, which we call sunshine, and so on, like that.
So is Paramatma Brahman?
He's the one that Paramatma or Parabrahman is a superior Brahman. That's Krishna. That is spirit personified.
Maharaj, can't hear you clearly. Your voice is cracking. Is that just for me or for everybody else?
It's for me.
Maharaj's voice is cracking.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Cracking?
It's okay. I can hear you fine, Maharaj.
Okay. No, I just was wanting to know about is Paramatma also Brahman? It was my question. Then you were replying and then you were cutting in and out.
Paramatma is Krishna, who's manifest in the material world, you know, present within the heart, personally present. And in a four-arm form, if you want to get into detail. So it is, there's Brahman and there's Paramatma. There's also Atma and Paramatma. Atma is the individual soul, which is Brahman also. It's permanent, it's eternal, it's full of life, energy, joy, so on like that, right? So Para Brahman refers to the superior Brahman. So God who comes personally, like in an atomic way, present everywhere, next to or living, residing with the living entity, almost like a next door neighbor. Kind of like a guardian angel concept. God's there, watching, waiting, observing, let's say, supplying, sensing, all these things.
So we as
Paramatma,
Atmas
he's
are
there.
also Brahman?
Yes, we are Brahman.
And Krishna is
That's
Para
right.
Brahman.
But Krishna is Para. That's right.
Okay, got it, Maharaj. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
All right, good. Great. We've got some people with their hands up. Ritam, Prabhu, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I was thinking of the example of a tree in nature, because whatever is the season, the tree stands tall and it is, not disturbed by, whatever seasonal changes are there. And at the same time, it is also giving shade to anyone who takes refuge of it, whether it's an animal or it's a human being. It doesn't differentiate. Also, there are climbers and weeds and shrubs that find, refuge in the tree. So yeah, the concept of being indifferent yet at the same time, giving shelter.
Nice, yeah. So the tree is neutrally situated, giving, receiving, doesn't get all emotional about things, right? Yeah, it's very much accepting. Yeah, beautiful, nice example. Good, good, good. Sandamini, you have your hand up.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranams. So I was thinking of Srila Prabhupada, who was a Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma, because he had a vision and he saw everybody as spirit soul. He didn't see them as American or hippie or, And I was thinking, what more example do we have than our own Acharya, who was completely in that state? And he might have traveled in Rolls Royce or anywhere, but his spirit soul was always, with Krishna. And so I was reminded of that, our Acharya.
Yeah, as far as Prabhupada's getting around in conveyances. Yes, he sometimes would be driven a Rolls Royce. Sometimes he'd be in an old beat up old jalopy, especially in the old days. In the old days in San Francisco, with the hippies, he went along with whatever he was given. And so in that way, he was aloof. He just accepted what was coming his way. All right, good, good. Super. Anybody else? Arjun Sakahari, well, how are you?
I'm good, Maharaj. Vayamasi. Maharaj, I was getting the example of a river which flows towards the ocean, or I say exemplary as Krishna. Whatever makes her polluted or something, she never turns around and goes somewhere else. And she always help and give benefits to others also. Like we see Ganges, people pollute her like anything, but still she's giving benefits to millions of the souls and millions of animals and everything, and she's moving towards the ocean.
I appreciate very much your what you're presenting to us. It's coming from the right from the purport of this particular verse 54. The river picks up things, and in its movement, it just cleanses. It gets water also is something that you have to question sometimes. Stagnant water. Would you want to drink stagnant water, even if it's apparently clean? Once it starts moving and ripples over the rocks, it gets oxidized, and that gives it a fullness, a vivaciousness. So, I like that example. Thank you. I would also like to ask any of you who give us an example of seeing with equal vision. What did we just read, or what did we just go through to illustrate that point?
Naman had his hands up for some time now.
Oh, okay, well, that's good. I don't see your hand up. Oh, yeah, it's hiding behind the live icon. That's why. Okay, go ahead.
The example that I thought, well, a few examples actually. First is the ocean, into which many streams of desires flow, but its waters remain undisturbed at one level. And also another example is of a lotus, which is surrounded by water, but it remains dry itself. And another example is the tortoise, which draws its limbs when temptations strike it, and thus it's able to protect itself and stay in the self-satisfied position.
Good. It sounds to me like you may have dramatized that at some point in time. Okay, that's good. I do love the example of, precious stones and ordinary pebbles. They're to be regarded as the same. Like actually in Canada, there's quite a big industry for diamonds, for instance. Some of the best diamonds can be found under lakes and so on like that. We have like these South African companies that come into Canada and, done a lot of digging De Boers and other companies like that. And so when you see diamonds, they look pretty precious. To me, nothing makes a difference. When we were kids, we used to go and collect pop bottles and all kinds of bottles and get 2 cents for each bottle. Those were the days of recycling. And those were also the days when people would drink something and then toss it in the ditch. And we're talking about the 50s and early 60s. And then people became more self-conscious and, polluting isn't cool. But we would also find some precious stones, or what to us was precious. It was just worn down old bottles, blue, red, let's say amber in color, and they're worn down on the sides, like worn down so they look like precious stones. A little bit like the story of that we find in Dhruva Maharaj. He said, I was looking for something very valuable, an opulent way. And in the process of my austerities, I realized that I thought I was looking for valuable stones, but in the end, I just found broken glass. So for a person who looks at even what's considered a stone of value, a precious stone, placed in a locket, offered to your lover or whatever like that, a person who's like a Brahmabhuta will say, well, this is nothing. This is just like a regular stone I can find just outside. As I open the door, I'll just bend over and there's a stone. That stone and a precious stone, a diamond, whatever is considered by me to be, it's all the same. It doesn't matter. We measure, we consider something to be of value. Somebody figured out this black stuff that comes out of the ground that's kind of sticky and smelly, and everything sticky, black oil. Somebody placed value on oil, and one day it won't have much value. It's just where we have placed, let's say, put a price tag on something, and But for other persons, it really doesn't mean anything, you know. Gas, you know, fossil fuel, for instance, is something left from the animals or the dinosaurs in the past. What is it? It was really much, honestly, you know. So I just love that analogy of seeing pebbles and gold, even. Gold to be the same. Doesn't phase someone who's really in the Brahma Bhuta stage. Now, if you're going to be a little smart, if you do hit a gold mine, you know, please sell it and use whatever the proceeds are in the service of Krishna. Build the golden temple, for instance, yeah. But I think the line is drawn when you think this is mine and I'm to enjoy it. On the other hand, when you come upon something precious, say a lotus flower, hey, Krishna would love this. Krishna would love some mogra flowers. Krishna would love something with scent. Krishna would love some tulips from Holland that have a scent added to them. That Krishna would love. All of these things may add value once you offer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But once you think, I'm the possessor, I'm the enjoyer, I'm going to win the lottery. Yeah, when you become the central figure, then there's a problem. Once Krishna becomes a central figure, then something else. In the story of the Syamaka jewel, Krishna made it clear everything that is especially gold in the case of Syamaka jewel, everything should be offered.
Maharaj, your voice is cutting. Your voice is cutting in and out, Maharaj.
Do it. Is it?
I cannot hear you, Maharaj. No.
Cannot hear you at all, Maharaj.
You can hear me
Yes,
now?
Maharaj.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
You were saying about the Semantika jewel, Maharaj.
Okay. I don't know where we left off, but
Semantaka jewel. You're talking about the Semantika jewel.
Syamaka jewel. Okay.
You're again cut off, Maharaj.
Too much. Yeah. Krishna's saying in regards to that, who's making a strong. Okay. Oh. Nityananda.
Now we can hear you, Maharaj. Oh, yes.
Okay, beautiful. Hopefully we'll be able to last till the end of our little session. Okay, so I think the main point to extrapolate from this verse 54 in particular is to learn some detachment. Is something comes of, you know, of a measure that is calculated to be of great value according to the, you know, what society has established, whatever the status quo is, then so be it. Use it in Krishna's service. Just always keep in mind, I'm not the proprietor. I'm not the owner. It's Krishna who's the owner. Let's do everything for God. Yeah. Am I still heard?
Yes.
Yes, Maharaj. Now it's better.
Maybe we can. You can turn your video off. Better.
Yeah, if that will help. Okay.
I think Maharaj, it says left. That's
Yeah, I think Maharaj logged off. This is audio and video off.
Yeah, better not to ask, not to
Yeah,
tell Maharaj to
I
turn the
should
video off. We can turn our video
I
off.
should no,
No, but the network problem is from Maharaj's side. So
yeah, I
I
should
think
have
Rashni was
yeah.
trying to suggest to reduce the band.
Anyway, yeah.
Hopefully he
I-
can
I
get that
think
done.
even our videos can affect Maharaj also, because Maharaj network is already low. So when we on the video, the mobile of Maharaj will also load our videos also.
Right,
So it will put
that's true.
some network issue on Maharaj's side.
Is that what? Okay, I didn't realize that. I thought it was only his. Anyway, I should have turned the video myself instead of asking him.
Yeah.
So what do? We can
Ask Maharaj to join again, please.
Sanraj, are you in Canada now? In
Yeah,
Toronto?
I'm in Canada. Yeah.
Can you call Maharaj?
Yeah, I can call Maharaj.
Yeah, you can turn your mic off here and then call Maharaj.
I don't know if anybody caught the exact analogy that Maharaj was looking for.
Maharaj is coming back. Yeah. Wait. Maharaj is back.
Okay, Jai. Jai, Jai.
Jai Maharaj, we can see you, but you're on mute.
All right, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, we can hear you.
Okay, bravo. Thank you so much, Jai. Okay, tell us, what was the last point we were making?
Maharaj, you were talking about the Semantica jewel, and then we got cut off from that point.
Oh, I thought we got way beyond that.
No, we got Maharaj. Then you were telling us that the point of this was to learn some detachment and to remember that you're
We
doing
went
something.
beyond the Siamataka jewel. Yes, yes. So learn indifference, learn to be detached. Keep in mind everything belongs to the Supreme Lord. And this is what it means to reach the Brahmabhuta stage. You know, it's something that is a little bit rare to achieve, rare to see. Sometimes, at least I've witnessed some devotees can get quite emotional and get thrown off a bit. But let us take this as an incredible guide of verse 54. And that's why I'm saying let's try to emphasize this. What are some of the 4 points that we can find which would exemplify a great devotee of the Lord? Can somebody tell me? What are some of those
He
qualities?
does not lament when he doesn't achieve something.
Okay, great. Yeah. Doesn't have to live in the past too much.
He's
Yeah, go ahead next.
He's equipoised, Maharaj.
He is which?
Sorry.
Equipoised.
Equipoised.
Yes. Yeah, very, very good. Yeah. Any other quality?
Detached from any material things.
Yes, sure. Mhm.
Looks at everyone and realizes the Atma within, the Atma and the Paramatma within.
That's right. Yeah, that's, I think, what we're meaning by being equipoised or demonstrating equanimity. Yeah, that's right. That's very good. That's right. Paramatma is everywhere and Atma is everywhere. It's all, there's a oneness factor that devotees have to embrace. You know, you have to see everyone as some child of God, right? Part and parcel of the Lord. But if we can see the world like that, there would be, less stress, less anguish. My God, all the protests that are going on in the world now, geez, so much agitation. And it's all going on the basis of like materialistic observation, seeing everything from a mundane point of view, lacking the spirit, lacking spiritual vision. And because of that, there's no joy. no real joy. Brahmabhuta prasanatma. Just get prasana, that means happiness. Devotees are happy, like everybody in this call is happy. I see all of the only happy faces, right? And if they weren't there a second ago, they're there now. Right? Prasanatma. Yeah, an atma that shows prasana, joy. Mhm. Why? Because a person reflects on positive things. Krishna's presence. A person who counts blessings is such a person. Not someone who dwells on what I didn't get or what I had achieved and what I lost. You know, when you go to a funeral, you see how people, you know, they really grieve over what the person they lost. But in time, as you know, time is the healer, one understands, well, okay, right, I've got to let that go. I've got to let that person go. That person has another purpose. I can't hold on. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's an admirable place to be, to reach this Brahmabhuta stage. Not hankering, not lamenting. It's not bad. Being somewhat content with what you have. So think about that in regards to your own spiritual progress. Where am I at in this regards? How can I be gauged? This is a gauger. This verse is a gauger. Okay. And I would defer one more time even before we leave. I'd like to go back to 51, 52, 53. I'm just going to read it this time. Being purified by intelligence and controlling the mind with determination, giving up the objects of sense gratification, being freed from attachment and hatred, living in a secluded place or a place of Krishna, one who eats little, one who controls his body, mind, and power of speech, was always in trance, and who was detached, free from false ego, false strength, false pride, lust, anger, and acceptance of material things, free from false proprietorship and peaceful. Such a person is certainly elevated to the position of self-realization. All good qualities. Prabhus, you can also, you know, this is a conclusive chapter, you know, and we will find that what we're reading or what we're going through now is not new. We've actually dwelt on a lot of these things already in the past. Okay, so just like to give you an example from chapter 9 of Bhagavad Gita, the Lord is talking, giving some definitions of maybe not Brahmabhuta, that's not the terminology, but that's used, but the term is usually Mahatma. That's what's presented a Mahatma. Mahatmanas tumam arata, daiving prakritim ashrita. Could somebody just find that verse for us? Okay, I'm glad we're looking.
I think 9.13, Maharaj.
Very good. Thank you so much for helping us with that. Okay, so these two verses, 13 and 14, let's have a look at that. It's describing what is a Mahatma or like a Brahmabhuta person in Brahmabhuta stage. O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service, okay? They keep themselves very busy because they know Krishna is the supreme, original, inexhaustible. Text number 14, this is another symptom of a Brahmabhutist person, one who is not just always engaged, but engaged in glorification of the Lord and endeavoring with determination, right? That word we had just picked up today. Just keeping busy and being very determined not to be swayed by the waves of Maya, bowing down before me, taking a humble position. These persons perpetually engage me. So you see, Krishna is repeating himself throughout the Bhagavad Gita, and now we're getting a summation of it here in these verses today. So I just say, please memorize this shloka, Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma, and please, if you could have it ready for us next week, that would really be cool. I know we're going to enter into the Christmas season. What is it? A week from today. And fortunately or unfortunately, we're all tied up with Christmas stuff. Okay, so we are on the 19th. Yeah, it's going to be the day after Christmas. Let's see what happens. Are you Prabhus all going to be available next week?
Yes, Maharaj, I'll
Yes,
be available.
Maharaj.
Yes, Maharaj.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Okay, I'll be coming back from Ottawa, so it should be okay for me. Yeah. All right, so the day after Christmas. I hope that doesn't get in the way of anybody. Prabhus, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go because we're just getting ready for our drama practice. A bunch of people are dependent on me. Thank you very much for getting on board and learning about Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma, Nashochati, Nakamshati, and etc. And now it's up to you to memorize the verse. Try memorize it on your way to work, on the bus, while you're doing the dishes, while you in between japa rounds. Let's get that verse down, okay? Memorize it. You'll be able to use it. You're going to use it in your explanations of Krishna consciousness to other people. All right.
Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha, Kripasandhubhyevacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai.
Maharaj,
Jai
thank you.
All glories to your holiness.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Maharaj.
Bye, Maharaj. All glories to your holiness.
Dandavat Pranam.